There was a time when wisdom was revered. Elders were sought for guidance. Scholars were respected. Leaders were chosen for their integrity and knowledge. In stories, the fool was a cautionary figure, a comic relief, not a role model. Somewhere along the line, the fool became the star. Our society began to elevate ignorance, to reward stupidity with attention and money. Reality television made celebrities of those who embodied the worst impulses. Social media amplified voices that shouted loudest, not those who thought deepest. It happened gradually, like a change in tide. We didn't notice until the landscape was submerged. Now we find ourselves drowning in content created by people celebrated for their idiocy. We laugh, we share, we follow, we worship idiots. To understand how this happened, we must look at our values, our technologies, and our insecurities. Start with entertainment. As media evolved from literature to television to social media, content consumption accelerated. Attention became a currency. Producers discovered that simple, sensational content grabs attention quickly. Intelligent, nuanced content takes time to digest. In a market driven by clicks and views, easy wins out. It is easier to watch a clip of someone doing something foolish than to watch a thoughtful lecture. It is easier to laugh at someone's ignorance than to reflect on your own. Idiots, in this context, are not necessarily lacking intelligence. They are willing to display ignorance for attention. They are characters who embody extremes. They make you feel superior and entertained. When entertainment and attention are monetized, idiots become profitable. The market rewards them. We worship money, so we worship those who have it, even if they earned it by appealing to our basest instincts. Technology amplified this trend. Social media platforms use algorithms designed to maximize engagement. Outrage, shock, and humor trigger strong reactions. Calm analysis does not. Posts that make you angry or laugh travel further. This isn't malicious, it's math. Algorithms learn that you spend more time on content that provokes emotion, so they serve you more of it. Over time, your feed fills with extremes. People who produce thoughtful content compete with those who produce outrageous content. The latter wins more often because outrages are shareable. Idiots who are loud, brash, and unfiltered get pushed to the top. You see them everywhere. They become the face of our culture. We forget that millions of thoughtful people exist because the algorithm hides them. We assume the idiots are representative. We worship what we see, forgetting that our view is curated. Education plays a role. In a world of immediate information access, patience for learning diminishes. We have Google, Wikipedia, tutorials. We can find answers instantly. We value quick fixes over deep understanding. This shift devalues expertise. The idiot who shares quick hacks becomes more relatable than the expert who studies for years. We prefer charisma over knowledge. We trust charm over credentials. We worship idiots because they make us feel like we don't need to learn. If they can succeed without depth, perhaps we can too. This alleviates our insecurities. It also perpetuates them. Deep down, we know we lack their charisma. We idolize them while feeling inferior. This tension fuels consumption. We keep watching, trying to absorb some of their magic. Consumer culture encourages this. Advertising capitalizes on insecurity. If we feel inadequate, we buy more. Idiots often display lifestyles that seem attainable yet glamorous. They are relatable in their flaws but aspirational in their possessions. They convince us that it's possible to have fame and fortune without sacrifice. This appeals to our desire for shortcuts. We buy their products, follow their advice, mimic their behavior. We worship them because they symbolize an easy path. They promise us that we too can be loved without depth. This is seductive. It also distracts us from meaningful pursuits. Instead of cultivating wisdom, we chase relevance. We measure our worth by likes and follows. Idiots become high priests of this superficial religion. There is also a cultural rebellion at play. For centuries, intelligence was gatekept. Education was reserved for the elite. Intellectualism was associated with oppression. When ordinary people gained platforms, they rejected the pretentious and inaccessible. They embraced authenticity, even if it was crass. The rise of idiots can be seen as a rejection of elitism. It is a declaration that you don't need a degree to have a voice. This democratization of expression is powerful. It gives marginalized voices a platform. However, it also creates a vacuum where nuance is lost. In rejecting elitism, we sometimes reject expertise. We equate confidence with knowledge. We worship those who speak confidently, even if they speak nonsense. The line between empowerment and ignorance blurs. Understanding how we got here does not mean we must stay here. We can choose who to elevate. We can adjust our algorithms by what we engage with. We can support creators who value thoughtfulness. We can demand media that challenges us. We can teach ourselves and our children to appreciate complexity. We can remember that entertainment is not value. Idiots can be entertaining, but they should not be our guides. Wisdom exists, but it is quieter. It doesn't shout for attention. It invites us to lean in. It requires effort. It offers deeper rewards. We worship what we feed. If we feed idiocy, it will thrive. If we feed wisdom, it will grow. This is not an easy shift. It requires acknowledging our role in the problem. It requires resisting the lure of easy entertainment. It requires celebrating the uncelebrated. It requires us to be uncomfortable. But comfort is what led us here. Growth is uncomfortable, and growth is what we need if we are to stop worshipping idiots